What is up, everybody, and welcome back to TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm Jacob Turner. He's Andrew Jones, and AJ Weir here for a bit of a breaking news podcast here to discuss the bowl bid that Carolina has accepted earlier today, as they will officially play UConn in the Fenway Bowl in Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts. That game is on December 28th, Saturday game, 11 a.m. kickoff in Boston. AJ, I guess by the time we're recording this, about 4:30 in the afternoon, so the news has probably been official for 30, 45 minutes at this point. Because just to give you a little background, ACC tweeted out that Carolina had been selected for the bowl, and then we worked through some sources on our end to confirm that Carolina was actually going to play in the bowl game, because there had been a little bit of deliberation this week on whether or not they would accept the bowl bid. And then we sat around for 20, 25 minutes trying to figure out if UConn was in fact the opponent that Carolina was going to be playing. It looked like all signs pointed to that, but took a while to get that officially confirmed. So here we are, North Carolina versus UConn, a good UConn team as well, an 8-4 season for them, which, hard to come by up there in recent years. So yeah, cool place to go as well. So what are your immediate reactions to Carolina versus UConn in Fenway Park?
Cool, meaning literally, right?
Yeah,
11 a.m.
all the way around.
3 days after Christmas.
Yeah. Oof. Be a little chilly out there, man.
I mean, I was just up there a couple weeks ago.
I was going to say, yeah.
So Carolina, it was not a done deal that they were going to play in a bowl when Bubba met with the team last week. He met with them Sunday and asked them if they wanted to play. They said yes, but then it depended on how many players they would have.
Sure.
So they lost a few guys to the portal, and I'm thinking, gosh, they're down to 2 quarterbacks because Connor Harrell entered. They're down to 2 running backs. Do you really want to go into a bowl game with 2 running backs and 2 quarterbacks? And so there was some deliberation, about what bowl they would go to. Would it be cost effective? And once a new coach is named, do kids then say, okay, I don't want to play for this guy, I'm moving on? And then they suddenly don't have enough players. So they went ahead and accepted. I was told a couple days ago that they were probably going to play in one. And I spoke to someone in the football program. They said, look, we got 2 quarterbacks, Jacoby Criswell, Mike Merding are on scholarship. Connor Harrell might play in the bowl game. He might stick around and play in the bowl game. And they believe that Hudson Wilhelm, who's a walk-on, a freshman walk-on from Wilmington, I believe, could be an emergency quarterback if necessary, especially in a bowl game. At running back, David Goss. You have Charleston French, the JC transfer, who played a little bit this year. And then I believe Darwin Barlow is going to play in the bowl game. So you got 3 running backs. You got 3 running backs, you got 3 quarterbacks. That's probably enough. And right now, they've been very fortunate. Only a handful of kids have entered the portal. I was told a lot of kids that are in the program want to stay there. They don't want to move on. They want to wait and see who the head coach was going to be. They're there for a lot of reasons other than just football. And they've been hearing the same names that we've been hearing. And some of them find it pretty intriguing maybe to play for one or more of those names that we've been hearing, one in particular. So they haven't really lost that many kids. So right now they have a fairly full roster, and they're set to go up to play a UConn team that's resurgent under Jim Mora Jr. I think they had a good year 2 years ago, slid back some last year, and had a pretty good year this year. Not the toughest schedule. They're an independent, and they really need to get into a conference, but they're an independent, and they've beaten a lot of so-so teams. The better teams they've played, they've lost to, but they're 8-4. They're going to have a lot of fans there. Their campus is about an hour and a half away from Boston, so it should be a road game for Carolina, and that's okay. I mean, Carolina's done okay on the road this year, and why not have a challenge and get to play in the most historic sports venue perhaps in the country? Certainly one of them. It's the oldest ballpark in baseball. I, for one, am excited. I just drove by it 2 weeks ago, and every time I go up there, I'm thinking to myself, man, I hope I have enough time to go take a tour, because I've never seen a game there. And so it'll be their second bowl game in a baseball stadium in the last 3 years, because they played, 2 years. 2 years ago, they played in San Diego where the Padres place, and the field was a mess. And they almost didn't play the game. So anyway, I think it's cool that they got a game. If they're going to play in one, I'm not a huge fan of the cold, but if it means sitting in Fenway Park and watching a college football game and covering it and having these kids go out on a high note as they begin their tenure under a new coach, even though he won't be coaching them, why not? It might be some pretty neat storylines to write about. And it is a Saturday, so I'm glad it's on a weekday because we were hearing about Carolina to the Myrtle Beach Bowl on a Monday at 11 a.m., like before Christmas, which would have sucked.
Oh,
So, because I'm coming back from New York for basketball that Sunday and I have to come home. Hey, honey. Hey, Ellie. Turn around and go to Myrtle Beach. So
yeah, that would be disgusting. That would have been absolutely disgusting.
It would have been, especially the field is like turquoise or whatever.
Oh.
It's brutal.
Can you imagine, Carolina?
By the way, total sidebar. Cut the colored turf crap.
Yeah.
It's a tradition at Boise. Get rid of it.
I don't mind Boise. I think they're the only ones who can do it.
Because tradition. Eastern Washington has a red field. Eastern Michigan is like gray. Every 5 yards is gray, and then the other 5 yards are. I can't stand it. So this will be on grass. It'll be on nasty grass, perhaps, because it'll be cold and nasty out. So let's get it. Let's get it on.
Yeah, no, I think cool.
Again.
Yeah, cool destination. Obviously, I'm sure they'll, Carolina fans everywhere. So I would imagine there'd be a decent Carolina crowd there. But yeah, cool place to go. Obviously, Freddie Kitchens being the interim head coach for the Tar Heels as well. So he'll be taking over the helm for that game. And obviously, as the time right now of recording, no announcement made yet on who the new football coach for the Tar Heels will ultimately be. But
they will know when they go to Fenway Park.
Yeah, I would. I think that's pretty. I think we can confidently say that. Yeah, I think we can confidently say that. But yeah, man, UConn as well. Like we mentioned, 8-4. The cool little stat I saw floating around Twitter. I tweeted it out too. But fifth. This is UConn's fifth opponent this season they've played that has fired their head coach. So adding one more to the list and obviously making it 5 for Carolina.
Florida Atlantic.
Can you list them off?
Florida Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
Temple.
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina. That's 3. Trying to think of who else they played. Did they play Buffalo?
Live and direct. Right
Buffalo? Temple? They played Temple.
Yep.
And UMass.
Yes, Rice is the other one. I think you said. Rice. You said Rice is the other one.
I was just watching a little clip they had on their Twitter feed from the Rice or from the UMass game. It's pretty cool. It's like 3.5 minutes. They've been playing UMass every year since like 1897.
Oh, really? That's sweet.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, 2 not great programs in recent history, to say the least.
You know what, though? But it matters up there, and it matters to them. And UConn was good back in the day. Carolina had a home and home with them 08, 09. Mm-hmm. I think it was 08, 09. The 08 team beat them at home.
I think I was there for that, yeah.
That was the UConn team, I think, that played in the Fiesta Bowl. They actually had they had some good teams during that era. And then the next year, Carolina went up and beat them in Stores. They beat them 12-10 because UConn got called for a holding penalty in the end zone. It was a safety. Carolina beat them 12-10. And UConn, I believe, is on the home of the schedule coming up in the next few years.
Yeah, you are right about that as well. Yeah,
UConn needs to get into a conference.
Yeah, they do. It's weird that they're independent.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of UMass. I mean, who knows how big these leagues are going to get? I don't think ACC fans want UConn basketball in the league because they kind of detest UConn basketball.
Yeah.
But hey, at least it'd be you'd think a competent team this year because ACC basketball is horrific.
Yeah.
But my guess is they end up in the Big 12 at some point.
Yeah, I woun't be surprised. I saw it was funny. Somebody tweeted out, you got 2 basketball schools playing football in a baseball stadium. I thought that was just kind of funny to kind of look at it. But
in hockey weather.
Yeah, exactly. No, but just focusing on UConn for a second, because I mean, obviously an opportunity for Carolina to go out with the season with a win, a new tenure, I'm trying to think of the right word to say here. I'm blanking on it because we've been doing so much.
Close the book. It's Mac's team had closed the book on Mac, even though he's not going to be the coach there. These kids need some good stuff, some things to feel good about. I have a feeling that they will once the head coach is hired. There'll be a nice boon to that whole building and get a win and get rolling and go into the offseason on a victory, which in the end, gives you momentum, but you lose, it gives you something to fight for. I mean, all that stuff is kind of overrated. But why not? They haven't won a bowl game since 2019 when they beat Temple in the Military Bowl. And they only have 4 bowl wins this century.
I know.
So go win a bowl game. Go win a game. Go play a game. Go win a game. It'll give some opportunities to some younger players to get a lot of snaps. And it'll give an opportunity for the new coach to sit back and watch what he has now and a little bit of post-Mac football.
Yeah.
With an NFL guy leading them for the next few weeks, and the NFL guy being Freddie Kitchens. He was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns a few years ago.
Yeah.
So it's all positive as far as I'm concerned. UConn is a solid team. They're very run oriented. Mm-hmm. They run the ball well, don't throw it a ton. And defensively, their strength is more stopping the run. But I got to warn, some of the teams they played are not very good. They've struggled some, and the better teams they played, they haven't done as well. There's two common opponents, Duke and Wake Forest. Duke beat UConn, I believe, 26-21 in Durham. I remember, in fact, following that game. I can't remember what I was covering during that game, but I remember thinking, man, that's a bad look for Duke. But UConn turned out to be much improved. Yeah, and then Wake went and won at UConn, I think, by 3 points. Syracuse beat UConn. And Maryland pounded UConn in the opener, but their wins are over Temple, Rice, FAU, Buffalo. They played Merrimack. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, Merrimack. Yeah, I didn't even know they had
blocking a guy from the line of scrimmage from Merrimack. That's wild.
Yeah.
Who else did they beat?
Temple, Georgia State, UAB, Massachusetts.
Yeah,
obviously.
Georgia State beat Vanderbilt. Beat Vanderbilt. You know, I noticed that all those talking heads trying to pitch for 78 SEC teams in a 12-team field here the last couple of days never, ever did the transitive formula of the Georgia State punking Vanderbilt punking Alabama, plus Alabama lost to a team that was 5-6, 24-3.
Yeah,
anyway, Bama didn't get in, so we're all happy, except the SEC, anyway.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. That was I'm glad SMU deserved to be in that one. But yeah,
so they beat Vandy that beat Alabama. How about that?
Yeah, that's the way we'll look at it here. That's football math for you right there. But just to focus on UConn a little bit more, I mean, just looking at their schedule, didn't necessarily they have beat Merrimack relatively easily, whooped Buffalo 47-3, FAU 48-14. But even their losses, AJ, I think that's what stands out the most. Bad opening game, 50-7 loss at Maryland. But after that, I mean, like you mentioned, Duke going to Duke and only losing by 5. Wake Forest hosting them, only losing by 3. At Syracuse, second to last game of the year, only losing by a touchdown. This is a team that even in their losses, besides the first game of the year, has been extremely competitive. It's some tight wins in there as well. 17-10 over Rice, 34-27 over Georgia State, 31-23 over at UAB. So this is a team that loses close games and tends to win close games as well. So I'm looking at this matchup right here, and I mean, I would think Carolina would maybe be favored, but it'll be interesting to see how that one opens up. But it's not an easy matchup. I know some people hear UConn and be like, oh, that should be an easy win for North Carolina. This is a team that has been competitive all year. Obviously has lost 4 games, but has, besides the first game, like I mentioned, has had really competitive games against some decent, ACC teams, particularly at Duke and at Syracuse. So I think this, like you said, win a bowl game for the first time since the Military Bowl, which seems like a decade ago now. We were at that game. It's like a decade ago, AJ. That might as well be another lifetime at this point. Get a bowl win. Go into a new era. I finally thought of the word I was trying to think of 15 minutes ago. Go into a new era of UNC football with a bowl win, with a kind of that positive feeling going into it. So, yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for North Carolina, but by no means a pushover. They have to show up and play well to win this game.
Yeah, I think you could probably say UConn would be about a bottom mid power conference type of team. They would be in that 9-12 range in the ACC, kind of maybe similar, maybe a little bit lower in the Big Ten and SEC, probably the same in the Big 12. So they've done a much better job recruiting up there, and they've gotten some transfers. It's a better program. They've done a good job being independent. Like I said, they need to get into a conference, but we'll discuss that at another time. I think for Carolina to go back up to Boston, where I think a lot of these kids might feel a little bit of sense of responsibility about what happened to Mac, because it happened 48 hours after they absolutely laid a ginormous egg in Chestnut Hill. I think it's an opportunity for a little bit of redemption. Athletes love to find things to give them extra fuel. Michael Jordan used to look in the crowd and he didn't like a shirt a guy was wearing, and he would look at that shirt 500 times in a game. He'd try to kill the other team because of that shirt. So this gives these kids maybe a little bit more of an opportunity to get some closure on the Boston thing. Psychology in sports is real, so why not? And I guess basketball goes up there. There's going to be 3 trips in Boston for AJ in a short period of time. So,
all in.
Boston's a great place historically. It's got, if you could get on one of those little trolley bus things that take you around and show you everything, it's unbelievable. It's so much to take in. But and Fenway's awesome. I can't wait to get in there. I haven't been in Fenway.
Yeah, before. That's got to be cool for you. I mean, you're a baseball junkie, man. You absolutely love it. I
despise the Red Sox.
Yeah, that's true.
I despise
you're a history guy too. You're a history guy too.
Because look,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
but I'll get goosebumps walking in that joint.
Oh yeah, man. I know you will. I think a lot of people will. Just first time going there. No, it's a really good experience. And last thing too, Jim Moore. You mentioned Jim Moore Jr. being the head coach. Done a pretty good job since returning since going to UConn. Obviously had a bit of a tenure at UCLA, with that being kind of his what he's most known for. But just looking at his record at UConn, came back in 2022, 6-7, a little bit of a blit last year, 3-9, but 8-4 in 2024, like we've mentioned. So yeah, I mean, he's doing a pretty good job starting to turn a program around that has just been an absolute.
They didn't have a season a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I know. It's been a program that's.
It's a very difficult job. They lost most of their players.
Yep.
And he came in and he's done a really good job. I hope they're paying him well.
Yeah. I'm gonna need to if they're gonna keep him, because I'm sure if he keeps winning up there, he'll probably get some looks elsewhere. For sure, but
he's got a name.
Yeah,
around, he's got a name. So
yeah, no doubt about it, man. But
that's
I think
baby, though. I've been told that's his baby. I have a good friend who's a UConn grad, played hockey there, and a couple other people I know, they're UConn people. And I remember talking UConn football like last summer. They're like, "Man, it's his baby. That's baby. That's his toy."
Yeah, man, good for him. I mean, again, a place that is just dying out to somebody to come up there and turn it around. And I mean, so far 8-4, heck of a year for UConn when you look at some of their recent history. So yeah, man, bowl game I'm looking forward to. Obviously, keep it locked to TarIllustrated.com. Obviously, for whenever the new coaching announcement comes, which we're hoping and maybe I guess expecting to come relatively soon. Maybe, who knows? We've been saying that for a few days now.
Tonight.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? That would be nice. We are prepared for it if and when it happens, but keep it locked as well for, transfers, people hitting the portal potentially when that news comes out ahead of the bowl game too, because obviously a few weeks away. So remains to be seen maybe what happens with that. But yeah, I think a good opportunity for Carolina to go maybe potentially win a bowl game for the first time in a few years. Again, Fenway Bowl, December 28th, Saturday, December 28th, 11 a.m. kickoff, which I'm a massive fan on. I like noon kickoffs from a journalistic perspective. 11 a.m., man, when I saw that, I about passed out with happiness. I was like, that's amazing, man. That's going to be awesome. Wake up, drink some coffee, relax for a couple hours, and watch some football, do a podcast after. That's my kind of day right there. So looking forward to that one. And it's a couple days after Christmas. You don't want the 24th. You don't want the 26th. I mean, give it 28th. Come on, guys.
Dude, I have to wake up at like 6:30, go out and walk in whatever horrific conditions they have up there, and then drive to Fenway.
Yeah,
and then walk from wherever we park to the ballpark in horrific conditions, and then cover a game.
I wonder what the likelihood of it snowing that game would be. It's a lot higher than it would be if it would playing in South Carolina. I'll tell you that, but. Dodged a bullet on that. I think AJ's just happy he doesn't have to go to Conway, right?
Well, the Conway would be a short drive, but you see, I'm coming back from New York the day before, so the day before that game. So I think my brother would have been excited because he lives in Conway.
Oh man, he would have been fired up. Easy little hop, skip, and a jump over there for him, man.
Yeah. He's like 5 minutes away from the stadium.
Yeah, bummer for him, but not necessarily the time of year you want to be going to Boston, but nevertheless, cool experience playing in Fenway. And
if it snows, that'd be cool. They haven't played a snow bowl game since the Sun Bowl, I think, on Christmas Day in 1982.
Long time ago, man. It's good history right there, pulling that out of your head right there. I expect nothing less.
I was actually talking to my wife. I was telling my wife yesterday about, hey, just to let you know, if they have a bowl game on the 26th, I got to leave the 25th.
Yeah.
And then it reminded me that there have been a couple of bowl games on Christmas Day.
Yeah. Ironic that the last snow game they played in was the Sun Bowl. That's very ironic. And I think they've
had 2 snow Sun Bowls. They had one in the 70s too.
Yeah, man. Snow football, nothing better. I'd love to watch a little bit of that. That'd be absolutely sweet and fantastic to see. So maybe I'm rooting for snow at this point now. I'm rooting for a snow game. Nothing better than that. So yeah, man, I think we can go ahead and get out of here. Bigger, again, who knows? Maybe we'll be getting a coaching announcement tonight. Maybe we won't be. Stay tuned and we'll see what happens in regards to that. But I've been Jacob Turner. He's been Andrew Jones, another edition of the THI podcast. Quick little breaking news podcast. Like the video below if you're looking forward to the game. Like the video below if you're planning on going, or maybe if you live in the Boston area or up north and you're a Carolina fan and planning on going to that game. Go ahead and like that video below, and like the video below too if you're just ready for this coaching saga search to be over as well, because I think a lot of us are. And let's get to the point at this point. So again, we appreciate y'all watching as always. Make sure you like, as I just said, share, hit the notification bell so you know every single time we upload, and subscribe, guys. Got to hit that subscribe button. Obviously, we need to do that. Hit the notification bell too, like I mentioned. But yeah, guys, we appreciate y'all watching as always, and we'll see y'all next time. Thanks.